Hello and welcome to Mouse in the Mitten Trivia Pod, a podcast where you test your Disney trivia knowledge over a variety of topics. My name's Court and I will be your host. Our game will consist of 5 rounds of 6 questions, covering everything from your basic Disney facts to some unknown facts. Each question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted. Make sure you follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. And make sure if you're watching us over on YouTube that you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Now, Disney is a fun experience that sometimes is best given as a gift. If you are thinking about doing Disney this upcoming year and giving that as a gift this holiday season, I would love to make sure you get everything all taken care of. All you have to do is email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We get you all set and all taken care of. Well, I missed something very important last week, and last week's show was released on a very important day in Disney history. So today, we're going to celebrate that important day, and we're going to celebrate Walt Disney. Last week, Thursday, the last episode was released on Walt Disney's birthday. So in honor of my tardiness, round 1 will be dedicated all about Walt and his amazing story. So let's get started here with question number 1. Walt was born in Chicago. When he was 4, what state did the Disney family move to in 1906? Question number 2. Who did Walt marry in 1925 and is credited with changing the name of a famous mouse to Mickey? Question number 3. Within 2, what year did Disney move to Hollywood? Question number 4. What park in Los Angeles was the inspiration for Walt to build a theme park that was clean and both kids and adults could enjoy? Question number 5. What was the name of the first company that Walt and Up Iwerks formed before Laugh-O-Gram and Disney Animation? And question number 6. How many Academy Awards has Walt won? More than anyone else? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. Let's get you some answers here on Walt Disney. So question number 1. Walt was born in Chicago. When he was 4, what state did the Disney family move to in 1906? Well, they moved to Marceline, Missouri. So that is what all the Main Street USAs, at least in the Disney parks in the US, are modeled after, is that Marceline, Missouri, downtown that Walt grew up and knew. And that's what those are modeled after. And it kind of holds that nostalgia piece to you as well. Question number 2. Who did Walt marry in 1925 and is credited with changing the name of a famous mouse to Mickey? Well, that is Lillian Disney. They got married in 1925 and Walt was, trying to think of the right name for the mouse. He originally was going to go with Mortimer Mouse. Lillian eventually suggested Mickey. That was the one that he liked. That was the one that stuck, and that's the one that we love today. Question number 3. Within 2, what year did Disney move to Hollywood? Well, he moved out there on July 1923. So in order to get the point there, would have had to say between 1921 and 1925. So he moved out there, started his animation company, everything else like that. Originally, he was trying to do animation in Missouri, back in his home state. Obviously, when you think of hubs of entertainment, Missouri is not at the top of that list. Even back then, St. Louis was a bustling metropolis, not where you'd find a lot of animation and movie stuff. So he decided to move out to Los Angeles, and that was in 1923. Question number 4. What park in Los Angeles was the inspiration for Walt to build a theme park that was clean and both kids and adults could enjoy? Well, that would be Griffith Park. He was there with his daughters and they were laughing and they were having fun because it was a day that he can spend with them. And he realized there should be a place for both adults and families that are fun, that everyone can enjoy, that was clean, and that's when we get the Disney parks. Question number 5. What was the name of the first company that Walt and Ub Iwerks formed before Laugh-O-Gram and Disney Animation? Well, they formed Iwerks Disney Commercial Artists. They were kind of like an advertising agency. They would make advertisements for local companies in the Missouri area, around kind of the St. Louis area where they were located. And it didn't last too long. Eventually, they ended up, both Walt and Ub had to go back to work. But obviously, we all know the history that Ub Iwerks has with Walt in not only creating Mickey Mouse, but a lot of the very first animated features that we all fell in love with. Last but not least, question number 6. How many Academy Awards has Walt won? Well, he won 22 Academy Awards. He has more Academy Award wins than anyone else. He also has the most nominations with 59 as well. So again, a great figure. The reason why this trivia show exists, the reason why all of us have a place in our heart for all the parks and the movies and everything else like that, it's all because of one man and all because of one mouse. Continuing on now into round number 2. Round number 2 is our fast facts. This round is filled with simple questions that have simple answers. Today's category is the colors of Disney. The way this round will work is I'm going to give you 3 characters in the Disney lore. You just have to let me know what color is normally associated with those 3 characters. So let's get started with question number 1. Lightning McQueen, the Parr family, and Anger. Question number 2. Dory, Stitch, and Genie. Question number 3. Peter Pan, Pleakley, and Jiminy Cricket. Question number 4. Yzma, Madam Mim, and Figment. Question number 5. Bolt, Eve, and Maximus. And question number 6. Tigger, Nemo, and Pluto. Now again, some of these characters, they kind of go together, but it's one of those things where their colors definitely bring them together. So let's get started here with question number 1. Lightning McQueen, the Parr family, and Anger, that is red. Obviously, Lightning McQueen, his car is red. Anger, he is red, and obviously fire shoots out of his head when he gets very upset. And then the Parr family, as the Incredibles, they are red as well. Question number 2. Dory, Stitch, and Genie, that is blue. All 3 of those characters are primarily blue. Obviously, Dory has some other colors in there as well, but Stitch, he is primarily blue, and Genie obviously is blue as well. Question number 3. Peter Pan, Pleakley, and Jiminy Cricket, that is green. Obviously, Peter Pan, what he wears is green. Pleakley is a green alien, and then Jiminy Cricket, he is of course a green cricket. Question number 4. Yzma, Madam Mim, and Figment, well, that is purple. Yzma always has the purple dresses on. Her skin kind of has a purple translucent hue to it as well. Madam Mim always wearing purple. And then of course, Figment, everyone's favorite imagination dragon, he is purple as well. Question number 5. Bolt, Eve, and Maximus, that is the color of white, which I guess is technically a shade. But yeah, Bolt is primarily white. Eve is all white except for like the little place where her eyes are. And then obviously Maximus, the horse from Tangled, he is primarily all white as well. Last but not least, question number 6. Tigger, Nemo, and Pluto, that is orange. Obviously, Tigger is a bright colored orange. Nemo is a bright orange as well. Pluto, it's kind of orangish, yellowish, but for this round, I would say he definitely leans a little bit more towards that orange hue as well. So hopefully you enjoy that and see the combination of colors in a little different way. Continuing on now to round number 3. Round number 3 is our connecting the circles round. For this round, the way that it'll work is I'm going to ask you 5 questions that may or may not be Disney related, but the answers do relate somehow through Disney. And that's going to be your 6th and final question, is what is that connection? So let's get started here with question number 1. What is an event that typically happens every year in the fall for high schools and colleges and is often paired with naming a king and queen? Question number 2. Starting in New York City in 1993, what chain of restaurants is a tribute to filmmaking and often has memorabilia from well-known movies? Question number 3. What restaurant and music venue first opened in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1992 and had the backing of Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi, and Aerosmith, among others? Question number 4. What restaurant is connected to Animal Kingdom but is technically outside of the park? Question number 5. What is the name of the king prawn from the Muppets that has overtaken social media? And question number 6 is, what is that connection? I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. See if we can connect those circles. So question number 1. What is an event that typically happens each year in the fall for high school and colleges and is often paired with naming a king and queen? Well, that is homecoming. Obviously, usually surrounding football, depending on the school, maybe a different sport, but usually a fall sport as well. That is homecoming. Question number 2. Starting in New York City in 1993, what chain of restaurants is a tribute to filmmaking and often has memorabilia from well-known movies? Well, that is Planet Hollywood. Now, there isn't a ton of them left. It filed for bankruptcy in late 2010s, and I believe there's only about 3-4 locations left at this time. Question number 3. What restaurant and music venue first opened in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1992 and had the backing of Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi, and Aerosmith, amongst others? That is the House of Blues. Of course, Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi, we're talking about the Blues Brothers, and that is obviously the big tie-in there, along with a couple other musical acts as well. Question number 4. What restaurant is connected to Animal Kingdom but is technically outside of the park? Well, that is the Rainforest Cafe. Now, the Rainforest Cafe, really cool, like, location and, like, some of the things that are in there with the rainforest and everything else like that. Really cool. Food, it's okay. Question number 5. What is the name of the king prawn from the Muppets that has overtaken social media? That is Pepe. They are overlaying that with a choir singing, like a prayer by Madonna, and it's like these shocking and revealing moments. They've been kind of funny to me. It's just all of a sudden you got Pepe the Prawn everywhere on social media. For me it's been funny. I've enjoyed them. So question number 6 is, what is the connection? Well, we had answers such as Homecoming, Planet Hollywood, House of Blues, Rainforest Cafe, and Pepe. The connection there, those are all restaurants that you can find in Disney Springs. You have Chef Art's Homecoming, Planet Hollywood, House of Blues, both have restaurants along with Rainforest Cafe. And then you have Pepe by Jose Andres. He has a couple of different restaurants in Disney Springs, but there are a ton of restaurants in Disney Springs. I recently decided to put out a list of all the restaurants, and Disney Springs was far and away, besides Epcot, the longest list of restaurants. There are a ton of really good restaurants in there, primarily Chef Art's Homecoming. It is so good. There's a reason why that one is such a hard reservation to get. But if you are interested in learning more about the dining reservations and what restaurants are available in what parks or areas, I would love to be able to help you out. I have all the resources to be able to make sure you get the most information, be able to make the best decision for you and your family. Continuing on now into round number 4. Round number 4 is typically reserved for movie anniversaries, and today is a movie anniversary, and that is Princess and the Frog. So this round is dedicated to a fantastic movie, one of what we thought was the last times Disney would go 2D, but a fantastic movie that is so much fun. So let's get started here with question number 1. What city is the setting of Princess and the Frog? Question number 2. What is the name of the shadow man who performs voodoo that results in Tiana and Naveen being turned into frogs? Question number 3. What is Ray's full name? Question number 4. At the ball where Charlotte is supposed to meet Prince Naveen, what costume does Mr. Fenner and Mr. Fenner show up in to let Tiana know that she didn't get the building? Question number 5. How many Mardi Gras in a row was Big Daddy LaBeouf named the King of Mardi Gras? And question number 6. What happened in Princess and the Frog for the first time since Beauty and the Beast? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get you some answers here on The Princess and the Frog. So question number 1. What city is the setting of Princess and the Frog? Well, that is New Orleans. So this actually makes, at the time, Tiana was the second American princess in the Disney princess set, behind Pocahontas. Obviously, Pocahontas was the first one. Tiana was the second one. And now you have Moana in there as well. Question number 2. What is the name of the shadow man who performs voodoo that results in Tiana and Naveen being turned into frogs? Well, that is Dr. Facilier. He is the one, he's the shadow man, and he's the one that ends up having the curse and everything else like that. And he is a very diabolical character that I was really hoping was going to actually somehow be part of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Unfortunately, he was not. Question number 3. What is Ray's full name? Well, that is, of course, Raymond. He's introduced himself. He kind of scribbles out the word Raymond and then comes through it and says, but you can call me Ray. Definitely a cool little scene there as well. And a true love story with him and Evangeline. Question number 4. At the ball where Charlotte is supposed to meet Prince Naveen, what costume does Mr. Fenner and Mr. Fenner show up in to let Tiana know that she didn't get the building? Well, that would be a horse, which makes sense for them 100%. And I'm glad that Tiana was able to get her restaurant, was able to open it up and everything else like that. But for them to say she was going to get the restaurant and then not having them show up as a horse definitely makes a lot of sense, especially Mr. Fenner and what he was saying when he was the backside of the horse. It makes sense that that was the costume for them. Question number 5. How many Mardi Gras in a row was Big Daddy LaBeouf named the king of? Well, that would be 5. He was the 5th year in a row being named the king of Mardi Gras, which meant he got a giant float for a man with a big personality and just really, really cool float. I thought it was really, really cool. I would love to see it in person. Last but not least, question number 6. What happened in Princess and the Frog for the first time since Beauty and the Beast? Well, that was all the actors actually sang as well. From the iteration of Beauty and the Beast to Princess and the Frog, there were at least 1 or 2, or sometimes even the entire cast, who would have people come in and sing for their characters. In Princess and the Frog, all of the voice actors also sang, which I thought was a really cool nod to some of Disney's past, especially with Princess and the Frog being such a classic story as well. So hey, again, happy anniversary, Princess and the Frog. Again, if you haven't checked it out in a minute, it's one of my all-time favorites. Highly recommend it. Of course, it's on Disney+. Continuing on now into round number 5. Round number 5 is going to be focused on another movie anniversary. And of course, it is the season, so we wouldn't be going through the Christmas season if we didn't talk about this movie. That would be The Muppets Christmas Carol, a classic Christmas movie. Of course, a classic story by Charles Dickens as well. So let's just jump into it with question number 1. What legendary actor played Ebenezer Scrooge and has famously said that he treated the role similarly to that of a Shakespearean actor? Question number 2. Who plays the role of Charles Dickens and is our narrator throughout the movie? Question number 3. How many movies had director Brian Henson directed before The Muppets Christmas Carol? Question number 4. Name the song that Kermit sings as he's leaving his job to head home. Question number 5. Jacob Marley is the ghost who visits Scrooge early on in the Charles Dickens novella. In order to have Stettler and Waldorf play the role, what was the name of the second ghost? And question number 6. What kind of factory did Scrooge work at and was the location of the party scene with the ghost of Christmas Past? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get some answers here on The Muppets Christmas Carol. So question number 1. What legendary actor plays Ebenezer Scrooge and has famously said that he treated his role similarly to that of a Shakespearean actor? Well, that would be Michael Caine. Obviously, he has done a ton of really good acting work throughout his entire career. He has a long, expansive career of roles that he has played that are just legendary. This, personal opinion, one of his better ones, and just loved every minute of it. Question number 2. Who plays the role of Charles Dickens and is our narrator throughout the movie? Well, that would be Gonzo, and he is with Rizzo the Rat. So it's kind of interesting just to kind of see the evolution of some of these Muppets movies. The fact that Gonzo was with Rizzo in these early ones, and now he's paired with, again, internet sensation Pepe the King Prawn. So I can see, I'm wondering what happened there in that transition and what happened to Rizzo. Question number 3. How many movies had director Brian Henson directed before The Muppets Christmas Carol? Well, that was 0. He had famously directed no movies before this first one. And he carried on the baton that his dad, Jim Henson, had created of the Muppets, and he carried that baton forward and brought Muppets to a whole nother level. And matter of fact, Michael Caine gave him great praise afterwards, saying that he did such an amazing job. Question number 4. Name the song that Kermit sings as he's leaving his job to head home. Well, that is One More Sleep Till Christmas, an all-time classic, one of my favorite songs from this movie. So much so, and I know I don't think they'll ever see this, but I'm wearing currently a Lost Bros sweatshirt, and they create a lot of Disney merch, and the sweatshirt I'm wearing, it literally says, after all, there's only one more sleep till Christmas. Kermit's on here, Rizzo's on here, you got the Penguins on here. It's a lot of fun. Again, if you're listening to this, go check out the YouTube video to kind of see the sweatshirt as well. Question number 5. Jacob Marley is the ghost who visits Scrooge early on in the Charles Dickens novella. In order to have Statler and Waldorf play that role, what was the name of the second ghost? Well, that would be Robert. So in the original classic that is cited, it's Jacob Marley. He is the one that is typically the first ghost, and you wear chains heavier than these and everything else like that. That's Goofy's role in the Mickey's Christmas Carol. In this version, because they wanted Stettler and Waldorf to play that, they had to create a second Marley, and that's where we get Robert, and that's also where we get the song Marley and Marley. Again, classic. Last but not least, question number 6. What kind of factory did Scrooge work at and was the location of the party scene with the ghost of Christmas Past? Well, that would be Fozziwig's Rubber Chicken Factory. Of course, Waka Waka. That makes sense. You're the Muppets, Rubber Chickens. Again, Fozzie Bear ran it. It makes sense that they would make rubber chickens. And there's chickens all over the place. Real chickens. It's interesting. But again, a Christmas classic. If you want to see it, though, with a great song added in there as well, make sure on Disney Plus, hit extras, and you see the full-length director's cut version. It is just that much better. If you think it's good, watch that. It's that much better. But again, enjoy it. Tis the season for it. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. I will return next week with more questions and more fun. Make sure you follow us on social media at Mouse in the Mitten on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, give the video a thumbs up. In the comments down below, let us know what your score is. If you're not watching us over on YouTube, make sure you're listening to us on podcasts. If you are following us on Apple Podcasts, if you're not following us on Apple and you're listening to us somewhere else, make sure you're downloading us. Leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It always helps out the show. And again, if you are planning a Disney vacation and need a little bit of help, I would love to get you all taken care of and all set, be able to make sure that it's the most magical vacation that you can possibly have. Well, hey, my name's Court. The dog's name is Milo. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time.